Welcome to My Skeptical Sister.
I'm Meghann, the skeptical one.
I'm Erin, the believer.
I'm Meghann, the skeptical one. Let's just go back and forth. Why
are you doing it again?
I don't know. You looked at me like it was my turn again.
No, I didn't mean to.
Oh, okay. Well, clearly we're professionals.
Yes, that's right. We've been doing this for over a year. We are done being newbies. We know what we're doing.
I mean, could you not tell by that intro?
Okay, so we are back in NTI. It's official.
It is. So we are right back to the beginning of why we started this podcast.
I know. That's what I was going to bring up tonight. Should we start a second podcast? We're in our second quarantine.
Yeah.
Oh, like my gosh.
Our original one was our children didn't give us enough to live. And now it's like our children and our first podcast aren't giving us enough to live.
We need more.
We need something else. We need another night to do this.
Oh my gosh. No, this podcast is, thank the Lord, we still have it going because my gosh.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's about it. That's what we got going.
Right.
Oh man. Yeah. So they made the call. Like the weirdest part about this whole thing is that the whole rest of the world is not in full down lockdown quarantine.
Right.
But our school system is.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how parents are going to do it. I don't know how we're going to do it.
Nope. Still don't know. We're figuring that out.
Yeah. Childcare. So everything is just kind of up in the air. And whenever situations get like this, I like to just get really philosophical and take shots of tequila.
Yeah, sure.
Because what are you going to do?
I know. My gosh. I cannot believe we're here again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we started the night with the tequila shot.
And we know how that turned out last time. So here we go again.
Be fun. Let's see when that kicks in. You'll all be able to tell.
Right. So, all that is happening and that sucks and everything. But today I had quite an enjoyable time with your middle daughter. Oh my gosh. So she and I rode out to mom and dad's together, just the two of us, which was so fun. I never get to be with them by themselves anymore.
Yeah.
Like, all my nieces for a long time, I was able to be kid free and just have all the focus on them. So it was so fun. You had my kids and I had your kid, and we drove out, and somehow she started asking me about ghosts and things that I believe in and stuff like that. It was so cute. I was like, well, you do know your mom and I have a podcast and I am the skeptical one. And she was like, yeah, but I bet I could get you to believe. I was like, a challenge by Nora, the 9-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're driving and she's like, yeah, I've got this surefire test and it's going to prove to you that there are ghosts. I'm like, really? What do we do here? She's explaining the whole setup, which was so cute. And then as soon as we get there, she said, but I don't think my mom would be okay with me doing it. And I was like, oh, I love this. And so I'm like, you're right. We should definitely keep it a secret from her. So I was like, okay, well, when are we going to do it? How are we going to plan this? So we had this whole thing. I was like, I'll wink at you and that'll be our which we were not very good at. You were right in the kitchen and you're like, what are you two doing? I'm like, I have no idea. I just told her to go set it up. So, and the cutest part was that I kept saying, let's go back in the back bedroom, which was Grandma Rosie's old room.
Yeah.
And she finds that room terrifying. I don't know if because she knows that Grandma Rosie passed away. I have no idea, but she does not go back in that bedroom.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, we definitely cannot do it back there. I was like, well, where are we going to do it? She kept finding the funniest places to do this ghost test. And it was in the middle of the day, people around, there was no lights, lights
no
dimmed, no ambiance. But she was like, no, she believed in it so much. This is why she's your daughter. She believed in it so much that she was like, if we do it right here in the pantry, on the pantry floor where everybody can see us, it's going to happen. So it's basically, let me tell you how this worked. Cause you know what? She wasn't wrong. It did work.
Okay.
So
are you a believer?
Well, let me tell you how it worked. So there are 2 pencils. You have to find 2 pencils, which that took us forever in mom's house to find 2 pencils. And then you have to cross them. You have to draw a T and you have to put them perfectly, not just, she made sure you have to put them perfectly on there. And then in each corner, it says, yes, no. And then they have to balance. And then you ask, Charlie is the name of the ghost. Which you say, Charlie, are you there? That's what we had to say together at the same exact time. Charlie, are you there? And then we had to wait. And then the pencil is supposed to just go to yes or no.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny. I'm like, if it goes to no, who's there then? It's not Charlie, but it's going. So anyway, we're sitting there. We're sitting there, and pencils are very easy to make move when you blow on them. Girl, I got her over and over again. And she was like, look at it. Because I kept blowing. I know. But I kept blowing it. Finally, she caught on to me. Like, she caught me. She's like, Aunt Maggie, you got to stop. I'm like, but honey, if I don't blow on it, nothing's going to happen. She's like, it will. And then we'd sit there and we'd look at it. We'd stare. And sure enough, nothing would happen until finally I was like, I would blow a little bit. And every time, I mean, you could not. She wanted it to happen so bad. And then her eyes would get like the size of saucers. And then at one point you walk by and you're like, what are you all doing? I'm like, nothing. It's between the two of us. We can't tell you. And then I spotted you guys doing it. So clearly she came to you.
Yeah, she eventually came to me. So at first she kept trying to hint, like she really wanted me to find out what you all were doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, okay, just tell me what you're doing. She's like, no. I mean, it does involve a ghost. I was like, oh, okay, but you can't tell me about it. Well, she said it involves my friend Charlie. I was like, Charlie from school? Like, you have a friend named Charlie. Of course, you had already whispered to me a little bit. Like,
yeah.
So I knew.
Well, that's like sister code.
Right.
I can't make it. I mean, I want your girls to think at all times that I'm going to keep every one of their secrets so that they will come to me.
For sure.
But, I'll always let you know what's going on.
Absolutely.
That is sister 101. I cannot not tell you. So
right.
You saw us sneaking around. I was like, I don't want her to think that we're doing anything like we shouldn't be doing because it is Aunt Maggie. You never know. So I just whispered in your ear, I was like, we're summoning ghosts. It's fine.
Right. Yeah. So I keep egging her on. I'm like, oh, like Charlie from school. No. He's like from the 90s. I'm like, he's from the 90s.
Wait, she never told me. She never told me the ghost that we were summoning was from the 90s.
Yeah, she said he's from the 90s. And so I'm like, wow. Okay. I said, so he's almost as old as mommy. No, he died when he was very young. I was like, that's tragic. So sad. So eventually we get to it. She pulls it out of me. I did tell her, I'm okay with you keeping this a secret from me because you've told an adult that you trust and I trust.
Yeah, there you go. I said, so that's good.
I'm not gonna try to pull it out. If you want this to just between you and Aunt Maggie, that's fine.
Right.
But I said, but I am curious. I love to talk about ghosts. And she was like, well, I am sort of commune. And I said, you're taking communion with Charlie. And that's a clear sign that
You're telling me you're Catholic. Hold on.
It's a clear sign that I'm not being a good Christian mother. She goes, what's communion? I was like, oh. I said, at church when we get the good bread and the little grape juice?
That baby is communion.
Like, oh, yeah. No, I'm not doing that. I was like, okay. So I eventually got it out of her. And then every time I would, we did the Charlie, are you there? And it was on a slope. I mean,
yeah.
She was sitting on the couch and it was on the couch.
So, oh my gosh.
Of course it immediately moved. And she was like, did you see it? I was like, I did see it. That was pretty cool. And she was like, okay, now what are you going to ask it? I was like, oh, let's ask it. Are you kind? Yes, he's kind. He's my friend. I'm like,
she already knows everything about Charlie.
I was like, okay. Ask him, is he handsome? Mom, he was like 4. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Is he in a good place? She's like, Mom.
Every question. I said, this is why you don't do this with your mom. Every question she comes up with is going to be ridiculous.
I said, I think it's time for you to come up with some questions because I got nothing.
Yeah, nothing I get is good enough.
Yeah, so it was so pretty cute.
Yeah, at one point she had us do it next to the dog food so we could ask Charlie to move the dog food. So she's like, oh, I've got the perfect place. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. So we're in the middle of the hallway. People are literally having to walk over us while we summon this ghost.
Yeah.
It was so cute.
Yeah. She also said at one point when I said, we go to the back room, pointing to Grandma Rosie's room, she said, no, I don't want to disrupt Grandma Rosie's spirit. Aww, and then I said, well, I kind of want to. Let's go ask her. Let's ask Grandma Rosie there. That woman.
Hell yeah. Now that I believe. She'd be
like, hell yes. Yeah,
like the word hell would just appear.
Suddenly scratch itself out. Oh, man.
Well, we're sitting by the dog food and she's, I of course do my little trick and I make it move to yes. And eyes are huge. And she's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I know. She's like, okay, you ready? I said, yes. So we tried to time out perfectly. Can you move this dog food? It took us a long time, but we finally got it.
We had to say it together?
Yes, we had to say it together. So we finally got it. And then I tried really hard to blow and make the dog food move. And that's when she caught on to me and she was like, Aunt Maggie, I'm like, listen, I really want something to happen for you, honey. And it's not gonna unless I do it. So
Well, it turned into a conversation of me telling her, I don't ever want you to touch a Ouija board.
Oh.
But because I know
a,
she will.
Hold on. You mean what did she call it? Oh, Luigi board.
A Luigi?
A Luigi board. She at one point she said, Aunt Maggie, this is not like a Luigi board. And it was so cute. I said, a Luigi board? Yeah, where you ask it like questions to spell out. It's not going to do that. I said, okay, I think you mean a Ouija board. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, an Ouija board. I said, you don't have to say the O. It's just a Ouija board. Okay, I got it.
Oh my God.
So cute.
She is so cute. Yeah. Well, I told her, I don't ever want you to touch one. But then I was like, this is Nora, and she's absolutely.
That is like right there.
The moment there's a chance.
Ding, 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 ding. Oh, well, of course, if you're definitely going to tell her not to.
Yeah, it's definitely going to happen. Yeah. So then I added, but if you ever do, against my will, you need to start by saying you're only allowing good, kind spirits.
Oh my gosh. I love that this is important enough to you that you have. Okay.
It is.
Okay. I love it. I think that's hilarious.
And you also have to close out the board and say goodbye so that it like move that little planchette to goodbye so that you're not leaving the board open for bad spirits to come through. And her eyes again got huge. What? She was like, I need you to tell me that more. Like I broke it down more. It was very cute.
And you should say, and make sure you always and only do the Ouija board with Aunt Meggie, because then it's full on bullshit because she's going to move that planchette.
No, absolutely not, because you will not close it out, and then
true, but she'll remember that. Your
little prank will turn into what haunts us forever.
That's how that will work out. I just think it's so cute that some parents are really worried about extra internet or all these weird things. And you're like, okay, let me explain to you the ins and outs and the rules behind the Ouija board or the Luigi board.
The Luigi board. Very important.
Oh, cute. So speaking of spooky Luigi boards.
Do you have a Ouija board story?
I don't, but maybe we should say, speaking of spooky spirits being summoned.
Oh, okay. My second question was, is it a Mario Kart related story?
Oh, that'd be fun. But also, this is not about spirits being summoned. Speaking of speaking of spooky stuff, how about that?
Okay, that works.
Okay, so this is from a writer that has written us several times.
Yes.
Every time. In fact, I read this and out loud I said, oh God, Melanie, always good stories. You can just always rely on a good, what the fuck?
Yeah, Melanie's
spooky story.
Last story, just as a recap, where she saw they were playing hide and seek and she saw a little boy run behind the cabinet. And your response, she wrote back to that. She was like, I'm telling you, there is no way he could have gotten back there. No way at all he could have gotten back behind it into some weird separate room. She said, I saw him go and he disappeared.
Wow. How strange. Well, if I could remember that story in full, I would give it second debunk, but I can't. So Here we go.
All right.
Okay. So she says, hey, ladies, giving your wonderful show support the best way I know how by sharing my stories. Hell yeah.
Yep.
I would love to have Meghann give me some explanation for this particular encounter. Ooh, and boy, does she challenge me, especially at the end. I'm like, this is a good story. And I was like, oh, I see you, Melanie, coming at me. That's all right. I'll take it. I'm okay. I got broad shoulders. I got it. Okay. My sister is my best friend.
Oh.
It's a sister story.
Yeah.
I love that.
My story's a sister story too.
And I'm your best friend. It's just full circle.
Gosh, full circle.
Okay. My sister is my best friend. So when she got a job as a CNA at the local nursing home while I was still in high school, I naturally started tagging along. It also didn't hurt that there was a really cute male nurse. And then she does the winking smiley face. I love that.
I get it. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Most days, I would spend the time when my sister was occupied wandering the building, interacting with the residents. I got to know several of them very well. Many of them sat lonely most days, so they loved when I would come by asking for their stories about their lives and sincerely asking how their days were going. I bet. I think about that.
That's wonderful.
Chad used to work in a nursing home, and I would go and visit him. And those, it's such lives that have been lived, so much history is sitting right there in front of you.
Yeah.
Take the time. If you ever have time to just sit down with somebody who's elderly, ask them about their history.
I know. And I don't want anyone to ever feel guilt that they have to put their parent in a nursing home, because I know that's a hard choice.
Yeah, for sure.
But my gosh, It just feels like it is such a sad.
It seems so sad. It seems so lonely. I mean, I think that there are. Yeah.
I'm not trying to say. Well, now I'm backtracking, but
no, I mean, it is like that. That is such a hard choice. It's often a choice that has to be made, and I can only imagine being in that situation. But also, having said that, Grandma Rosie spent a lot of times when she would get sick that she'd have to go to nursing homes, and there are such lovely and wonderful people, and so many nursing homes that dedicate their time.
Yeah,
we've had friends that work in nursing homes, nurses that are in nursing homes, and every one of them are compassionate, loving, wonderful people. But even just as somebody who's not even in the medical field, just to get a chance to sit down and ask somebody about their life, it's like watching a movie.
Yeah, that's where we need to start going for our
stories.
What if we went to a nursing home and was like, we got a podcast?
We need to do that.
That would be so much fun.
Oh my gosh, that's a field trip for this podcast.
Yeah, let's talk about this after we're done doing this.
Oh, listen to her next line. I saw it as a chance to learn history before these wise elders inevitably passed on.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know, that's wonderful. Among these people was my favorite lady to talk with. I'll refer to her as Ethel. Her body began to fail her, leaving her confined to a wheelchair. She was a bit of a night owl, which is a bit peculiar for older folks. So when my sister started on graveyard shift, I often found myself in Ethel's room talking. Ethel and I would have many late night conversations and would occasionally need to grab someone to help her into the wheelchair for a bathroom trip. As a tag-along and not any official employee, I wasn't able to move her due to liability. One night, not notably any different than any other, I went to the kitchen to get a glass of water around 9:30 or 10, towards the beginning of the shift change. As I came back through the cafeteria, I noticed Ethel sitting at her usual table. Her wheelchair was nowhere in sight, and it was well past time that she should have been there. She should have been relaxing in bed. I could only imagine that perhaps dinner had been chaotic, and in the confusion, she had been left there by the aides. I know, that's awful. Now off shift, each having assumed the other had escorted her. She saw me and called me over. Cheery as always, not complaining nor even mentioning her unusual location or the time of night. We sat and talked for a bit before I excused myself to get someone to help her off of the hard dining room chair and back into her room. I headed to the nurse's station and caught the attention of a familiar RN and began explaining the predicament of Ethel being left in the cafeteria and not knowing where her wheelchair was. Her brow furrowed in confusion for a moment before her face fell to a sullen look of sympathy. She informed me that she knew we were close and that she was sorry to tell me that Ethel had passed away that morning.
Oh, wow.
Her room already cleaned out and emptied for the next occupant. I was certain she must be mistaken, even though she knew all the residents. I have experienced the other side many times before, as is evident in the many stories you've read previously, but my mind could not process this news. I had just seen her. I could recall our whole chat. I had squeezed her hand before walking away.
Oh, wow, that's weird.
Feeling her warm, fragile skin. I requested the nurse follow me back to the cafeteria. We walked into the empty room where all that greeted us was my glass of water still sitting at the table.
That is weird.
Right, like the glass of water is still there.
The glass of water makes it the weirdest part of that.
Yeah, because like that's evidence that I was right there.
That I stopped and sat down.
Yeah.
Long enough to put my drink down.
In an empty cafeteria.
Oh, that's the weirdest part.
Ethel was nowhere to be found. Though your podcast... Okay, here's where she gets... Okay, listen, Melanie. All right, this is where I'm going to just stop and debunk.
Oh, okay, before you read.
Before I read why she thinks that my debunks are just bullshit.
Oh, okay. But bring it. I love it.
Yeah, I knew you'd love that part. So I'm going to say that it was like, yes, she sat down and her water was with her and in her hand. And so that water being there is, it's not incriminating. She didn't do anything wrong. But it does add like an element of, I know I was there.
Yeah.
In this spot. However,
my days mixed up.
Right. I'm not like whatever. But it is late night. I don't know how tired she is. I don't know what things are going on with Melanie. I don't know how much stress there is. At the same time, I still think that it might have been like, a thought, a memory, some sort of like just conversation that was had that she did not expect to happen, but it was just kind of like in her mind.
Really? Has it ever happened to you once, ever, with anyone?
Sleep deprivation for sure has caused me to see and talk to things and hear things. Now, I mean, that's also like when I was like really, really in the throes of being a brand new mom. But sure, like I think your mind can do some really crazy things on you.
I don't think you can make up entire conversations and a hand squeeze.
I think that you can definitely think that you had like a conversation with somebody and it not have actually happened.
Okay, here's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Had she known that Ethel had just passed away, I could see her sitting, drinking her water and reminiscing.
Right.
And remembering those great conversations she had. And almost feeling real. Right. I can see your brain doing that.
Right.
As a way of closure. But I cannot see her having a very normal, pleasant conversation with her friend.
Yeah.
And then immediately getting up, going for help. And then find out that she has been dead for hours.
Yeah. I think also what would make this easier for me, because Melanie, this is not an easy one. What would make it easier is if it were a crowded room. Like if it were a crowded room and like hustle and bustle and things are going on and she sat there and talked, but she's talking about an empty room.
Yeah.
So it is a stumper. I will say that. I will also give, and I'm sorry, Melanie, but you came at me, I'm going to come at you, the loophole of like, we don't know for sure if this actually happened.
What do you mean? Like she's just making it up completely?
It is a great, like tailored ghost story. It is it is like classic. I feel like it's classic. I feel like it's perfectly. Sorry, Melanie. I still love you just as much as you still love me, but you don't like my debunks.
Oh yeah. Let's hear the smack she talks, because I'm here for it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, she doesn't do it in a disrespectful way. So I really, I don't at all want to come across disrespectful to Melanie. I think that she really believes that conversation happened.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay. So here's what she says, though. Though your podcast states that Meghann is the skeptic, I often hear her grasping at possibilities more as denial due to fear because she does not believe despite not wanting to.
I would slow clap, but I don't know how that would sound in audio. But yes.
I love it. I know many paranormal, in quotation marks, events have scientific explanations, but we have to accept that sometimes there are outliers to our perception of reality. Okay, now that I agree with. Here are the key words that our perception of reality.
Okay.
So what that takes me to is your perception is your reality. So like she seems to be very open to these different worlds, these different ghosts, these different spirits.
Yeah.
So that is her reality, that could possibly happen, and so then she hears Ethel passing away.
After the fact.
Well, or is it? Or over time, does that story slip in her memory that this is what's happened?
No way. Because that would not be a memorable moment for her.
Okay. You have somebody that you really care about a whole lot, and you want one more time to talk to them.
Okay.
And there's no chance in the world that she couldn't have either thought of that conversation afterwards. Like, how neat would that have been to have gotten to talk to her and sit there and have a glass of water with her at the end of it? And then her mind is like, kind of like, well, that didn't happen because she died. And then all of a sudden that memory becomes logged in as before.
No way. No way. Because she has a full-on memory of her asking the nurse, right? No, you're wrong. Come look.
And your imagination can't create memories?
No, not like that. No. Nope.
Okay.
You can call it a UFO, but I'm not accepting that.
I'm not calling a UFO here.
I'm not accepting that.
I think her imagination came up with a memory.
I am fully not accepting your debunk.
Okay.
Sometimes I accept them as I could kind of see that, and I do not this time.
So listen, we'll give it to her here. She's got us at each other, because I do think that maybe it was like a memory mislogged as to when it happened.
Okay.
And I think it was something she came up with as a way of closure, as a way of saying goodbye, saying, she wished she could have had that conversation with her one more time. Or maybe she had that conversation with her several other times. And over time, this is what's kind of like been created as a way for her to find closure.
I do not find that, but okay. I mean, I'll let you say that. the farthest
I love
thing.
that you think you can let me say you can.
I'm just saying, like, a lot of times I'm like, I could see that.
Yeah, no,
I don't.
No, I won. It's okay for you to never.
I
agree
usually never agree that you're right, but I could see it.
Yeah,
but this one I'm like, no, absolutely not.
You don't
I
think
just think
that
you
there's
know that that's where I'm at right now.
Okay, I gotcha. But you don't think that there's a way that this could have just been her imagination coming up with this? Okay. All right. So the idea of things that are unexplainable can be intimidating. Listen, this is where I want to say, Melanie, I am not intimidated.
Okay.
I'm not intimidated. I'm not. There are things that stump me for sure.
Yeah.
Stump is different than being intimidated. I'm not intimidated. I'm not scared of it because I don't think it exists unless it actually scares me in that moment. And then I go back and I'm like, oh yeah, that was just my kid's Batman thing that was left out at 2:00 in the morning. It's there and it scared the shit out of me. There's a reason why it was there. In that moment, sure, my mind went to Gremlin because that was scary as fuck. But later on, I realized what it was. So I don't find it intimidating. I find it like, it did not happen to me. That's interesting. And it has me stumped. It does not mean by any stretch of the imagination that there cannot be something that caused it to happen that is not paranormal.
Okay.
Most of the time, it's nothing malicious, just the lingering energy of those still attached to life. I look forward to hearing your take on this experience and wish you all the success possible for the future.
Oh,
Melanie. I know I really appreciate that last line because if you hadn't rounded it out with that, Melanie. No, I'm just teasing. I fully, and here's also what I will say, and I think I say this quite often, but it is okay for believers and skeptics to coexist and still be respectful of one another.
Oh, sure.
It's perfectly fine.
I mean, look at us.
I know, right? We try to be respectful of one another as often as we can. But what I'm saying is that it's fine. I don't think any different of Melanie for having those beliefs.
Yeah.
I hope she doesn't think anything different of me for not being open to those beliefs. But that's just how I am. Because I even told Nora today in the car, I was like, yeah, I have had some ghost stories happen to me and I still don't believe in them. She's like, what? How can that be? I'm like, I knew that would piss you off because it pisses your mom off.
It does. It pisses me off every time.
But I mean, it's just, and it's not because I'm scared in that moment that this might be for real. I'm just honest to God thinking there's got to be a logical reason for this. Like, I don't believe in magic. I don't believe in so many different things. I just don't believe in them. I believe that there's got to be a reason behind it.
Yeah. That's weird.
I know.
But I mean, I do feel
is it weird or is it just a difference in beliefs?
I think there's a reason, but mine is paranormal.
Yeah. It's interesting. I always think that the reason has got to be something like scientifically mathematical. I hate math. I'm not very good at science. I don't know why I want to believe in it so bad, but I'm like, there's got to be some sort of equation.
I also believe in science. I just feel like paranormal could be a genre of science. I feel like it could be something we don't fully understand yet. There are a lot of things.
Oh, I definitely 100% believe that there are things out there that we don't know. But when we talk about ghosts, moving things, ghosts talking to people, ghosts, things like that part I do not believe in.
All right. Okay. Well, we're at an impasse.
There it is. Okay.
All right. I got a story too. Me too.
Ah!
Perfect timing.
We do. We both agree on that.
Oh, look at us.
Peeing is important.
Okay. It is my turn to read a story. And this is fun. This is our repeat Reeby's sister.
Oh, well, Reeby has been promising us.
Yes, she has.
About time she delivered.
Yes, I know. I'm so excited. So this is from Hillary.
Okay.
And the subject line says, Reeby's sister Hillary finally sends in a story.
I love that. Welcome, Hillary.
I'm so sorry it took me so long to get something down and sent to you guys.
No worry. We blame Reeby. It's fine.
I do not blame anyone.
I'm just teasing Reeby. Reeby's laughing somewhere. She's fine.
I promise to write more if you like them at some point. Happy New Year, Hillary. My story. My sister Reeby wrote into you guys pretty regularly. That's always my word that stumps me. Pretty regularly. I had it.
Regularly. Regularly.
Regularly.
It's because it's so much like.
Oh, that is really helpful that you just broke that down.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm a teacher.
Thank you. Okay.
That's so ridiculous. I literally just said regularly. Go ahead.
Except you said it better.
Yeah.
My sister Reeve wrote into you guys pretty regularly when you first started your podcast. I was always shocked by which stories she decided to write in. There were so many to choose from. For newer fans of your podcast, which congratulations, you have many. Let me give you a backstory on my childhood home. And look, we get more clues on which house this is. We lived in the Highlands on Eastern Parkway in a beautiful limestone home. Limestone. Did we know that before?
I feel like we did, but it's okay. I'll take it in.
We were surrounded on nearly all sides by cemeteries within 1 or 2 blocks. I remember playing with our friends on the street behind ours and being stunned their backyards were in fact the cemetery. There were no big dividers like wooden fences. They weren't popular at the time. Just chain link fences and a whole lot of headstones. It was a very weird thing to constantly see, a very dramatic reminder for very young children of the eternal end we all face.
Oh my gosh. Isn't that the truth though?
Right?
Like you would sit there and just daydream about that and think about it all the time.
I remember growing up at Shiloh.
Yeah.
Like we went to the tiniest little church.
Yep.
And their graveyard was like the coolest place in the world.
Yeah,
to me.
It sure was.
Like I just wanted to go back and read every tombstone.
Yes,
especially the ones that you like couldn't even read. Okay. Well, goodness, things in quotations happened in all the houses in our neighborhood. All of them. Our homes were blessed often. Some homes were equipped with holy water to splash on whatever may need to be blessed at any given moment.
Wow.
I know. Like the whole neighborhood is like, oh no, we're haunted AF. So here's holy water.
I mean, you kind of have to embrace it if you're up to a graveyard.
Like their, new neighbor package. Like, here are cupcakes. Here's holy
your
water.
Rosary.
Everyone was aware that our neighborhood was alive, again, in quotations, in a dramatic manner much of the time. We all seemed to have ways of dealing with the disturbances. I, for example, would skip, run up and down the stairs while making nonsensical noises out loud, such that I would be quick and not hear things I did not wish to hear.
Wow.
This was a weird habit which would last me well into my young adult life. I talked myself out of doing it around 26 years of age, which is funny because the house I live in now is from the early 1800s and totally haunted.
Oh,
right?
She has to rewrite back in.
I know. She's going to have to start that habit again.
That's right.
When things got really bad and dramatic in my house, which is something that happened nearly every late fall through Christmas season, so things got more active in that time, we were taught to yell out, "In the name of Jesus Christ, go away and leave me be."
Wow.
We all had our ways. I hope you understand the background is needed. Plus, I have given you enough info you could find the house, or at least the neighborhood, should you want to. Wink, wink.
So yes, thank you for that.
We're going to go on a mission. Now to my house. Not only were we surrounded by cemeteries, but 2 people had died in our home. One of old age, and one a tragic drowning in the pool.
Oh, God.
We also had the ashes of my uncle in our home. That is a lot to unpack. And there was one ghosty we couldn't place. The evil, scary one in the basement. Male. That's all I know. I'm going to give you many tidbit stories and end with my favorite, absolutely traumatic story, which will never, ever leave my mind.
Oh, Lord.
I know. And full disclosure, you were ready to go. I only read the first story, so buckle up. We're both in for some surprises. We had a beautiful sweeping stairwell at our old house, like Gone with the Wind without all the pomp and circumstance. Which also, I've never seen pomp and circumstance written. And I think I always thought it was one word. Pomp and circumstance. But it's pomp and circumstance.
Yeah, I knew that.
Well, so does Hillary. It was beautiful, like it should have been in the movies. At the top of the sweeping staircase was a door which entered into the hall, leading to all the bedrooms. And to the right, an alcove loaded with books on the wall and a comfy, cozy, snuggle chair. I loved the alcove and sort of claimed it as my spot. One day, I was in the kitchen when I heard my mom call me. I said I would be there in a sec after I wrapped up whatever I was doing. I heard her call again, and I decided to go up and see what she needed. Sometimes we would call from upstairs to those on the main floor when we ran out of toilet paper, a very common occurrence because we were kids and kind of jerks at the time. I assumed...
that's not jerky. Sometimes you run out of toilet paper.
No. But like, and then you forget to refill it. Like your kids.
Oh, well, shit. I just live with a lot of jerks in my house.
I do too.
I feel like I'm the only one who knows how to refill toilet paper.
Yeah, it's really annoying. But I am also kind of a jerk because as soon as it's out of sight, it's out of mind for me. So I do forget often. I'll be like, "Ooh, I need to refill that toilet paper," and then I walk right out.
Oh, okay.
Not all the time, but often. That's why I was never a successful waitress. I tried it once being a waitress at like a tiny cafe. Luckily, it was so tiny that I was like the only employee. So I would go to the back to get something and come back out and be like, "Ooh, that guy asked for water." And then I'd go back in, forget again, walk out and be like, "Crap, that guy needs water." And then, I mean, I was not good.
So you were like a living Rachel from Friends.
Yes, I was very much hilarious. Like Rachel. It was rough. It was a tiny little place. That place is no longer open. And I take a little bit of blame. I assumed she needed toilet paper, which isn't usually something people love waiting on others for. I went through the swinging door in the dining room and started double stepping up the stairs. When I called I was coming, I heard no reply. I made it up the stairs and to the entrance of the upstairs hall when out of nowhere, bam, the door slammed me so hard I fell backwards. I felt like I was slammed by a wall of air and I bounced off of it. Mind you, I was not thrown back a lot. The force of it knocked me back a couple steps and onto my bum. It hurt and I cried a bit. I was shaky from adrenaline. Once I collected myself, I got up and ventured in to tell my mom what happened, though I was positive she had heard it all go down. And to give her the toilet paper. Guess what? Nobody was upstairs. So she heard her mom call very clearly twice. Something brought her upstairs, and then bam, she gets hit by the door.
Yeah, I was listening to the whole story.
I know, that's pretty wild.
That is wild.
Okay. Not a single person in a single room. No windows are open. We didn't have AC, so it wasn't a weird air pressure change. It was a door, wide open, slamming 180 degrees into me out of nowhere. Nobody was on the fancy side of the house. My gram was cooking in the kitchen. My mom, I found, had just pulled into the driveway with some of my younger sisters after a grocery store run. She most certainly had not called me. I slept with the lights on that night. In spite of sharing the room with my sisters, I was beyond unsettled. That is weird.
Yeah.
All right, here's our next story. Do you want to debunk first?
You always tell me to wait till the end.
Okay, you're right, I do. One day, I was walking from the living side of the house.
The other,
because one side's fancy.
Oh,
and one side.
Yeah, so you don't use the side that you don't use it. I was thinking like the side that doesn't face the cemeteries, but she means the side that we all lived in. I could not imagine having an entire space that I just don't use, but still have to fucking clean. Forget that.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Ugh. I hate cleaning the space I do live in.
Okay. One day I was walking from the living side of the house and was running up to my room before going out with friends. I had just entered the hall to the left of our stairs when, for exactly no reason, I stepped out of the way for someone and bopped up the stairs. Here, you can tell this is where I stopped reading. Okay.
So she like
she got out of the way.
She got out of the way. And then probably was like, why did I do that?
Yeah. Huh. Okay. About halfway up the stairs, I shrieked for my mom. She came running. I told her I stepped out of the way for a warm nothing in the hall. Like it was just average business running around the house and I didn't want to bump into someone. She was not even the least bit surprised by it, as she had seen and felt all manner of things in the hallway. That's weird.
Yeah.
A warm something. A warm nobody. A warm nothing.
Like she felt, so I think, yeah, like she felt a presence there. So she moved out of the way.
Right. But she wasn't scared of it at all.
Right. Until it like calculated in her brain, like, oh my God, why did I just do that?
Yeah. My last one for today, because I have mom of 4 duties. Oh my gosh.
She has what?
Mom of 4 duties rolling up in moments.
I also thought you said mom of Ford, like the Ford plant. I was like, I don't know what that means. That does sound like a lot. Like all the men in Ford, you're the mom of all. What's going on? Okay. Mom of 4 duties. Got it.
Yeah. I promise to write again. She says in parentheses.
No, honey, self-care. Do that. We're nothing. You go take a bath.
But
light some candles.
If you have time, we love the stories.
Yeah. They're great stories. But seriously, Mama 4. Oof, God love you.
Now, this one scared the crap out of me and still does today.
Okay, this is their big bang. This is what she's been waiting for.
That's right. Okay. This one involves the scary as hell basement Reby has written about.
Now, is this the right basement that had the slide in it that the doll like looked up at her?
Yeah.
When it like fell?
Yeah,
when gravity happened?
When it fell and then turned its head.
Yep.
After the fall.
Gravity kind of happened. Okay. Yeah. I picture it.
Okay. As you know, my mom and Grams made the room beautiful and as fun as possible. Fun was in quotations because they were all so afraid of it.
They hated going down there.
Yeah, they painted magical murals on the walls of deer and waterfalls and forests with hidden lakes. They were wonderful murals, not the cheesy ones one often sees in school hallways. At the base of the steps on the left, we all had our own cubby holes, huge shelves really, and all of our junk to live. Below were huge built-in cavities for the large homemade building blocks Mom and Grams made for us.
I mean, once again, let's give it up for Mom and Grams.
Right?
They seem amazing.
I know, so much better than we are.
Yeah, so I'm like, shit, I should be making my kids stuff. I should have spaces for all my kids to put their shit in so I don't get pissed off.
Yeah.
Oh, they're amazing, amazing parents.
Right. At the far end of the room on the right, they had converted the old coal rooms where one would store coal from the coal drop outside into a slightly elevated stage for silly performances.
Oh, how cute.
On the right side wall, while looking at the stage, was a huge whiteboard and tons of dry erase markers. They even made us our very own win, lose, or draw cards. If looking at the stage, to the right was the furnace dividing our side of the basement and the other side.
Ooh.
You could see through to the other side of the basement if you were looking between furnace bits. On the other side of the basement, you would find the extra fridge, the washer and dryer, a huge, massive, really, table for all the unfolded laundry, ironing, and a small sacred spot for Graham's storage.
Can I say this again?
Yeah.
This is what you get when you have two women raising children.
Right.
I mean, all of this.
Right.
We're going to have half this basement be this beautiful play area. And then the other half, we're going to put a fucking huge table in here because of the amount of laundry that we're going to have to do for this household. And we're going to make it conducive. And you know what? We're going to put a fridge back there for all the beer we're going to consume while we have these women. Oh my, rock star women. I love it. Lesbians, you have got this shit figured out. Not that they were lesbians, but even that. Co-parent with your mom. That's beautiful. Go for it.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
A fun little place to explore when it was broad daylight and perfectly sunny and all the lights were turned on and we were bored out of our minds.
Wow.
Otherwise, unless our parents were forcing us to iron school shirts at 10 cents a pop, something I only recently realized they made us do because they themselves were too terrified to be on that side of the basement.
Wow.
We had no reason to be there. None. Nor did we wish to be, but occasionally we would venture down to our side. And this is where the story takes place.
Ooh.
I was walking down the stairs with my friend and neighbor, Lauren. We weirdly stopped halfway down and looked at the stage to the far right. There was no reason for it. We just did. It was one of those moments I cannot recall in any other way besides slow motion. The only other time I had a slow motion experience was when I was in a car accident with Reby and I flipped the car,
God,
on 65 at the hospital corner during rush hour.
Ooh.
So like the only other time was a very traumatic moment. So interesting. So here we are, frozen midway down the stairs, looking to our right at the stage. Buckle in, ladies. Here is where trouble begins. There was this doll. Oh, I wonder if it's the same story.
Same doll?
Yep, it is always a doll. You know, there is a thought out there which seems to feel dolls can have spirit attachments.
Recently, Miles just told me he's terrified of dolls.
I get it. And luckily, you only have one girl. My house is covered in dolls. Not so much anymore, but there was a time it was creepy. Maybe this is the problem, the spirit attachments. Whatever, I don't know. So there was this doll. I cannot recall which sister owned this doll, but I do recall it was given as a gift one Christmas. It was not a small baby doll. It was larger, like a smaller version of those kid sister and kid brother dolls. Ooh, I hated those. My buddy, my buddy, my buddy. I love the song. My buddy. Yeah,
clearly you did too.
I did too. I can't sing worth a nickel, but there it is. Just know the doll was substantial in size.
Oof.
Lauren and I stared from our frozen position at the doll, who was on its back on the stage, quite close to the win-loser draw board. Suddenly, the head of the doll falls completely to its left side. A dead fall, nothing else moving. It locked eyes with us. Ooh. Yes, I understand. In reality, we locked eyes with it, but the effect was exactly the same.
I love that.
It hung there, looking limp and lifeless for what seemed like several minutes. Then, out of absolutely nowhere, the doll was pulled very quickly, feet first, across the entire stage and smashed into the wall. What? We screamed and ran crying upstairs. It took me many, many months to go downstairs again.
Well, yeah.
I only did so when I was forced to, absolutely against my will, for milk and such. You better believe I ran, sometimes 3 steps at a time, and made all manner of noises while going back up. I never played in the basement again, and that night I turned the stuffed toys in my bed completely around and shoved them in the corner of the bed, never to be played with again. Wow. Now I want to go back and listen to the story about Reeby's doll. Because was it the same doll?
No. This to me, why do I feel like this is, maybe I'm just picturing the My Buddy doll. I was picturing like a male doll, almost like a
Chucky
doll. Yeah. I mean, probably for lots of reasons.
Yeah.
Because the doll's in her story technically moving.
I really want to go back and find that episode. I don't know which episode it was, but there is an episode where Reeby, I mentioned it before.
Yeah.
Talks about a doll. I want to know.
Oh, I remember that whole story. Because it was a good one. It was, they went down the slide. They took the doll once down the slide.
Yeah.
And left the doll at the end of the slide. And then the doll, looked up.
Ooh. So that's 2 doll stories.
2 doll stories in that same. It's almost as if a group of kids who know that they live in a haunted house, and yes, those are my fingers doing quotation marks.
Couldn't you hear them?
Couldn't you hear them? Because here's why. Okay, we talked a little bit about mob mentality and the power of persuasion.
Okay.
So you've got this entire neighborhood. Literally, they're giving you a care package of holy water and rosaries as you come into the, that sets the precedent. You're like, okay, I live in the most fucking haunted house ever. So, of course, the smallest thing that's going to happen, my imagination is going to make it grow exponentially. It's going to be so spooky. It's going to be so scary.
Yeah.
She, bless her heart. And also, that's a lot to fuck with your psyche. As a young kid, you've got this cemetery there, staring you down every time you're playing. I can't imagine that just not being a part of how you were raised.
And 2 people have died in your house.
Yeah, so you've got just back to back persuasion that this is all very haunted. So not only are you constantly looking for or open to this idea that the smallest of noises has got to be a haunting.
Yeah.
But then you see a doll that's on the stage that you don't know why it's there. There's so many kids that live in this house. There's a million reasons why that doll could be there.
I'm still with you on all of this.
The doll moves. Let's even say the doll falls down. You've got 2 small young children who see the doll fall down.
Okay.
And they take off running. And one spins the story to the other one, and then there it is. It's did you see it?
Got pulled and smashed?
Sure. Again, the imagination. Your imagination is so powerful, and you've got all of this. It's why people are in cults. All of a sudden.
Okay.
I'm just saying, don't you ever think? I think I brought this up last week. Actually, don't you always think? How do people end up in cults? We know how you would end up in cults. You believe in everything, but
it's true. I'm not going to deny it. I would totally. The fact that I have not yet been in a cult is amazing.
It really is.
I'm so
proud of you.
Thank you.
You did a good job.
Pure luck.
Yeah, this podcast. What if this podcast is a cult? Who knows? No, I'm in it. I don't believe in any of it. No, what I'm saying though
That's
is
why
that
you're our guru. Damn it!
Oh, it's all coming together. Okay, no, I'm just saying you see people who are in cults and you think, how could they get there?
Yeah.
And it's not that they're wrong or bad or what, it's because the power of persuasion is so strong.
Yeah.
It can be so strong. So if you open your mind up to something like that, all of a sudden your belief becomes your reality.
Okay.
And that's what I think probably happened here. You have a couple of kids who are down. They're already going down to a creepy part of the basement that they're a little bit freaked out by.
Yeah.
They're scared of it. Why are they scared of it? Because A, it's a basement. B, it's in a haunted house that is right next to the cemetery that you've seen your entire life, that all of the adults are now agreeing that this is a haunted place. So you have that. I mean, you just have layers upon layers upon layers of persuasion. Something very scary is about to happen. It's going to happen. I'm looking for it. The doll falls over and boom, you've got two girls screaming up they're just screaming.
Yeah.
They're so scared.
Okay.
There's like not even enough time to really know what happened. They get up to the top of the stairs and this story emerges and it becomes alive and it becomes what they remember. And it's not wrong because it's what they both remember because they went over the story. You know what I mean? Like they didn't do it on purpose. I guess is what I'm saying. It just organically happened.
Okay. All right, fine. I'm not saying I agree with that, but okay. But how do you explain the toilet paper story? She's not scared in this moment. She's going up to like, oh yeah, I got to go help my mom. She's stranded.
Yeah. I mean, I can explain that by like just sound bouncing off of things. Mom might be saying something.
Mom is coming up the driveway and had not been calling her.
What about Grandma?
Grandma was on the other side of the house and hadn't been calling her. She goes over this. She debunked your debunk before it started.
Yeah, because she knows. She's Sisters of Reby. She's like, I've got to make sure. There are other people in the house. There could be other people in the house. There could be windows open. You could hear the neighbors calling their kids.
She literally said, no windows are open. We don't have air conditioning.
That she remembers.
Oh, my Lord. Okay.
I don't know. I hate to always discredit kids because kids are very smart and like kids know a lot of things. But at the same time, I think, again, it's a memory that happened in a supposedly haunted house that just kind of grew.
There is a physical door slamming in her face.
There could be other people in the house.
She goes into detail of where people are.
Again, there could be people she doesn't even know that are in the house. A person could have been in that house.
She went through
and slammed that door.
She looked in every door. There was positively no one there. I think it said positively
that she knows
no one.
That she knows of.
Oh my gosh. It's so frustrating. Every time we get to this point, it pisses me off.
But we're going to get there every time because here's the thing.
Because you're so stubborn for no good reason.
Well, but also so are you. And then also because this is what we do. We tell them to write in so that we can debate. So it's kind of like we've set up this equation to happen every time.
Okay. I feel like there was a third story, wasn't there?
Yeah. There was like the door shutting, then the very final one. And then.
Oh, she stepped out of the way for a warm presence.
Yeah. I mean, clearly she's afraid of the stairs.
Okay.
Right? So the stairs are something that are problematic for her, whether that's just like her own. I mean, my kid will come up with ridiculous things. His new thing is choking. That's not ridiculous, but he is terrified of it. Like every time he eats, he's like, Mom, what if I choked on? What would you do if I choked on?
Aww.
Because I know it's very sad, but I'm like, how about you just chew a little bit more and talk a little less? I say that a million times, but he does not get that I'm, but he's panicked about it. Like he'll say, well, what would you do if I would choke right now? And so we have to go over it and over and over it again.
Oh, poor guy.
So he got choked one night and then it has now set in his mind that every time he eats something, he's going to choke.
Oh, I hate that for him.
I hate that for him too. But that's like, with Hillary, every time she goes up the stairs, it's in her mind. Like something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
Who knows what happened on those stairs that started that, but she's got it in her mind. Something is going to happen. Every time I do go up these stairs, it's an irrational fear because it just is. Like with Miles, it happened once. You're okay. Just chew. It'll be fine. You're okay. But every time he eats, he has to talk about it. So now I feel like every time Hillary...
Because it happened once, she really saw
No. Because something spooked her. Something was like, oh, she got an eerie feeling. Or it was a little bit spooky. So every time she goes up the stairs, she has to skip, jump, and say something and be whatever. And then this particular time, she's not doing those things because she's got friends with her and she's going up the stairs and she feels something spooky again. Not because there's necessarily something there, but also because she broke her pattern and then she's more aware, oh my gosh, something just happened.
Okay, I will say that's the only debunk. I'm not saying I believe that's what happened because it is, I can see that conscious moment or subconscious moment of being oh, I'll just hop out of the way. I'll just get out of your way.
And then your mind comes back why did I do that?
That was weird. Yeah. So I don't believe you. I'm not taking in your debunk.
Yeah, but I've done things like that before, and then you look back on them, you're like, why did I do that?
Maybe you have walked around a ghost.
Maybe that's a pattern that I fall into that pattern. Maybe she just never goes in that area, or maybe she always goes in that pattern, and then that night she didn't because she also wasn't skip counting and doing all of those other things.
Yeah, I don't buy that debunk, but it's your best one of the night.
Well, thank you. I'll take that.
Okay. So thank you, Hillary and Melanie, for your stories tonight. They were great.
We so appreciate them. And I love both you ladies. I know you all are full-on believers and I'm a skeptic and, there's that. But I am so appreciative of both of you for writing in. Because what else would we do?
Sit here and
drink and be ridiculous. Okay.
At least now we have a purpose.
Yeah, I guess that's what you call it. Seems a little bold to call it a purpose.
We're doing something. Okay. All right. I think we need to get to a fan favorite.
Yeah. Why?
While we can.
Wait. What? Do you want to tell the people why you feel like we should get to a fan favorite? Oh, good grief. Erin Taylor.
What?
You've not edited me enough for them to not know why we
have to be a favorite. I've got it. They'll never know we have those secure
Listen. This is fine. We've got, no, not we, apparently just me. I've got PTSD from the last time I went to quarantine.
Oh, I've got it too.
Yeah, except for that I decided to drink it away tonight.
Okay.
Erin did not partake in that last shot, but I did.
We've also determined that my beer is weaker.
That is true. Dos Equis.
Calling them out. What if we get sued?
No, but did you see how I landed the name?
You said it so good.
Beautifully. Dos Equis
is delicious.
Delicious, but maybe not as strong as Corona.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay.
You got a fan favorite guess? Because I told you I love this fan. Okay.
I'm afraid that if I guess, I'm just giving you my next couple people.
True. I would laugh so hard if you'd already asked this person to be your
I haven't asked anybody in advance.
I bet they're already in your head. Because I even said at one point, I'm so happy I got 2 weeks in a row.
Ooh, okay.
I will give you a hint. It rhymes with Spotify.
Spotify is... Spotify is our fan favorite?
The hint rhymes with Spotify.
It is who told us to
yes.
rate, review. Oh, hold on. Let me think of who it was.
Anna, this means you were not in her mind, but you were in mine.
Oh, no.
The lovely Anna.
Aww.
Anna, hi, friend. I've picked you for my fan favorite next week. Erin is going to be pissed that I got to you first.
I am.
And I am so excited that I got to you first. We really do appreciate all your support and would love to shout out a cause near and dear, blah, 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 all that good stuff. And they say, oh my gosh, are you sure? I'm such a lurker. Okay.
That would be hilarious if you're like, no, you're right. Bye.
Right. Oh, okay. That's weird. I'm done with you all. No, Anna, listen to this. I love Anna. I'm such a quiet lurker on Facebook. Aww. This feels like too much. Haha. And then in parentheses, thank you. Plug. I told you I love this week's fan favorite. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Why. I can't wait.
I tried to find a charity for victims of alien abduction as a joke, but sadly, those folks haven't organized yet.
Oh, no.
I laughed so hard. I work in cardiology at a children's hospital, and these are two of the organizations that work closely with us supporting families. childrensheartnetwork.org.
And I'll put the link in the description.
And then canuckplace.org/health and safety /. We have great health care in Canada, but some things get overlooked. Lots of family have to travel to us for surgeries and procedures, and BC is a large province. These organizations take care of things not covered by health care, providing social support, lodging, putting on summer camps for kids with congenital heart disease. I mean, that's amazing.
That is amazing.
Respite for families with a child in palliative care, etc. She said, I don't know. That's the best I can think of.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's an amazing, amazing organization. If you can't find someone better to shout out, ha.
Anna.
Don't worry, I addressed that. Thanks again. Hope Erin isn't too pissed that you're a speedy mofo.
I am. I'm pretty pissed, but I'll accept it.
Yeah,
because that was great. I didn't even know you could rate us on Spotify yet. And they shouted us out.
They shouted us so quickly, and then I told them, well, here, let me read you the exchange.
Okay.
They say, if there's a children's hospital near you, you could shout that out instead. If lots of your listeners are nearby, might be more likely to support a local place. So basically, they're just saying like there's needs everywhere with a local children's hospital.
Yeah.
But, I mean, still.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, my husband's Canadian. I'm all about it.
Right. And we have some Canadian listeners.
Yeah.
And
Angie.
also,
hey,
Angie. Come on, Angie. Give some of that, like.
This is right up your alley. See what I did there?
Right up your alley, Angie. But also, I will say this. I mean, this is the big old world. And it doesn't matter if we're in Canada.
Yeah.
From Canada. We can still love Canadian children. So let's just donate where we should donate.
That's right.
Okay. And then I was like, somewhere better. I was like, are you kidding me? I said, after your post about being able to review on Spotify, we instantly had like 20 reviews. So that's huge for our little podcast.
That is amazing. So we are very appreciative.
So appreciative. And then they said, I'm still mad that there's no alien abduction support group.
I know. That just means we need to get abducted. We need to create.
Erin, listen to what I said. I said, I feel like the first step is to be abducted.
Oh my gosh. It's like we're sisters.
Almost. Yeah. Then start the support group, so it feels more organic, grassroots, if you will.
Perfect.
Oh, we're hilarious. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I said, I'll start working on that and I'll get back with you. Anna, you're it. You got us 20 reviews like that.
Yes.
Like you didn't just post on our Facebook page about funny things, which we do love.
Don't stop doing that, everybody.
We do love that, but like you put it out there. I love that they're like, I'm a quiet lurker.
Yeah, no, you're an activist.
Yes, yes. But you spoke up
action
when it mattered. Anna, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.
Yes, thank you, Anna. Thank you for calling that out. And if you want to follow Anna's, suggestion of not only her wonderful charities, which we will put all the links in the notes, but also rating and reviewing and subscribing either on Spotify or Apple now that you have the option. Please do those. You can also write in and find all of our information at www.myskepticalsister.com. It's got Patreon information. It's got where you can write your stories, merch. So please go there. And our movie night is next Thursday. We're giving you a heads up. So
look at us ahead of the game.
I know. I think we're going to watch Hans and Gretel movie on Netflix.
Feels very Witcher-like.
Yes, it looks really spooky. So anyways, go to our website, get all that information done.
Yep, do all of that.
We'll talk to you guys next week.
Hasta luego.
La 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 la.
She was a bit of a night owl, which is a bit not a bit of a tit.
A bit of a tit.
A bit of a tit.
She was a bit of a flirt, that Ethel. Let me follow a bit of a tit.
Her body had began to fail her, leaving her confined to a wheelchair.
Wait, should it be begun to fail her? Began to fail her? That's right. Like begun.
Well, she's talking in the past about somebody.
So begun.
Had began. Begun is like now.
Really?
I began. Why is that word so weird now?
I don't know, but
how is began or begun even a word?
I don't know.
The more you
so
say
weird.
it, it's not even a word.
Our homes were blessed regularly. Why is that word there again?
Well, also, why did she keep putting it in there? She's your nemesis.
Okay, then just start at peculiar because you said it fine. Peculiar.
Peculiar.
Luigi board.
A peculiarly Luigi board. All right. I know many paranormal, she puts in parentheses, events have scientific explanations.
Quotations that will get corrected.
I said.
You said parentheses. Quotations. I did that once and somebody made fun of me.
Yes, that's right. It was hilarious too. Why? Why did we do that?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Because the parentheses
blame
made
that
sense.
damn English teacher we had.
If that one person hadn't corrected me, I would still continue to call them parentheses.
That's so funny. Okay.
And being stunned by their they're back.
Do not apologize to me once. I fucked up every line of that last story, so please go ahead.
I'm ready. Go.
I'm gonna wait for you to get as drunk as I am.
Oh, there we go. Let's go. I'm ready. Just read it. Just read your fan favorite.
Go take a shot, and then I will.
Oh, I don't want to.
One shot, and then I will.
I've already taken a shot tonight. I do
know.
not want to
I
take
took
another
two.
one.
Erin.
I don't like tequila shots the way you like tequila shots.
Then take a bourbon shot. You'll be fine. We have no school
After a
tomorrow.
tequila shot.
Oh my gosh, you're not gonna die. Listen, it is.
After a tequila shot.
See, and you said that.
I know. What is that? We get really drunk. I mean,
yeah,
like
but
even
you did
a
it
little
earlier at my house without any alcohol, and I was like, "See, you do it too."
It's just our Irish.
You like to call me out on things that you do too, and I'm like, "That bitch, she does it too."
No, I do it. I'm sorry.
I know it's fine. I'm gonna then
I'm
get
now
really
calling
drunk,
myself out,
and I'm gonna wrap back around and be like, "I'm drunk enough to call you out." I've
Call
got
me out.
manners.
No, call me out, please.
No, oh no, I've got manners. I won't call you out till I'm good and
You're saying
liquored up.
Don't have manners.
I mean, you said
know,
that, not me.
sometimes I don't.